Already?
We were not here really all that well on Wednesday. We were not all here, I think.
True.
We are probably less all here now, but I believe we are here.
Kind of, sort of, maybe.
I mean, I'm willing to like go with it. I'm also willing to like move forward as if we are here.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Kayla Lord.
John Brownstone.
Loving BDSM, where we help Kingsters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. We are here for a Friday night live stream where we're going to hang out and get chaotic, I'm sure. And we will do a kinky Q&A, but not for about 30 minutes, 10 o'clock our time. I think there are other words I'm supposed to say, and I have forgotten them. So I'm going to say hello to folks.
Yeah, start saying hello to folks.
Hi, Claire. Hi, X. You're showing up as P, but I know your first name, and I don't know if you would prefer to be P or your first name, but you know who you are, and I know who you are, and also hello. Hi, Astra. Hi, Mr. Spock. Thank y'all both for validating our existence. Hi, Francis. Hi, Rara. Hi, Silent. So, Rara, you're here in Orlando, from Orlando and in Orlando, which is only a little bit away from us. Did you melt in the heat and humidity today? I need to know. I went outside for a grand total of 3.5 seconds each time I went because I was warm. But it was not the most oppressive heat. Like, we've had worse.
Oh, we've had worse,
We've had so much worse.
Yeah, I was smoking.
Hi, Taste He was smoking meat. Y'all.
Sorry, yeah.
On our smoker.
And got a little hot hanging around there, but you know.
I can imagine.
It was for a good cause.
It was. Dinner was delicious.
Yep.
I'm here to sing the praises of Aldi once again. Their baby back ribs, delicious.
They were good.
The mac and cheese, delicious. The not really Pillsbury, but kind of look like them biscuits, delicious.
Yeah. It was one of those things where, for once, the cost of the ribs in Aldi was less than going out to get a rib meal.
Yeah. Yeah, it hadn't been like that for a while.
Right.
Ribs have been expensive.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Pfister. Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good dinner.
Yep.
Yeah, Rara, that's how it is
Yeah.
here. So and to me, Orlando is worse. I think because there's just so much damn concrete.
And they're further south.
Are they? My brain doesn't.
From us? Oh, yeah.
Oh, my brain doesn't compute that. I just always think of it as just there's not as much green space and trees in most of the places you go in Orlando.
Roughly about 100, 150 miles south of us.
I always think of them as, yes, maybe south. I always think of them as straight over because we know my sense of direction is awful. But I really do just think of them as over from us. I don't think of them as, and if I think of them as south, I think of them as over and south. So it's like the Pythagorean theorem is coming into play here. And I did 8th grade math last year, so I know. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Well, okay.
But.
Okay. I'm going to go get myself a drink.
I wondered.
Yeah.
I asked. I offered.
I know you did.
You just want to, like, leave me.
I can't do that.
No, you can't. I will find you. I put a tracker on your ass a long time ago. You've been chipped, man. I will find you. Hi, Pinky. Yeah, Tasha, that's what I keep waiting on for us, because September is usually... It's not worse than August. August is the worst, but I keep thinking it's October already. Like, I've time traveled somehow. But yeah, August, we get like a couple of mornings where we're like, oh wow, maybe there's no humidity. And then, you know, it's misery. You're living on the sun. But October will fake us out too. We'll get some really nice weather for like 2 or 3 days in October, and then it'll be hot as hell again. Hi, Skyla. Oh, 75. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. I don't know what to do when he walks away. How do I not know what to talk about? Oh, do we mean to keep our window open? We have a window right back there behind where JB is. But we sometimes close the window. I guess I should ask him. I got nothing right now, y'all. We had a good dinner. We tried to take it easy today. I was better at that than I usually am, but I did still work. Ooh, 63. That sounds delightful. That's like right up my alley. That's just nice enough that I'll probably still be in flip-flops, but if there's a little, like, gets a little nippy, I can put on, like, a long-sleeve t-shirt or a hoodie. It's delightful. Oh, X, we're going to need a conversion website to do that for us. I don't know. But it's a wonderful number. It's like 75 is probably my ideal temp, as long as there's no humidity in the air. Silent. The fan died. It died real bad, but we kept it there. I think a couple times somebody pointed out that it looked like it was going, but that was just like the breeze turning the doolally thing. And finally, JB was like, let's just take it out. This is ridiculous. Do you mean for the window to be open?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure. So even when you're not here, we talk about the weather. So your legacy lives on.
Cool.
Oh, 60 anything for us, windows would be open here
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I can't wait. We air out the house.
Mm-hmm.
Fall, winter, but not so much in the winter, and then air quote winter. And spring, we can air out the damn house. Right now, we just live with the funk.
Even the cats love it when the windows are open. They just hang out there in the windows.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Because, yeah, we open them up all over the house, and then we get this beautiful cross breeze. And
Yep.
Yeah. I know we will have that weather at some point. It just never happens fast enough.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Once we're, like, deep in the thick of the grotesque humidity, you just kind of stop believing it will ever be cool
That
again.
will be anything different. Yeah, no. There's no hope.
This is just who we are now. This is just how we live.
Yep.
Hi, Enchanted Wings. Did you take a nap and wake up, or are you still awake from your whole day? I hope it's the first one, not the second one, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I feel a little lost here, y'all.
Hello, everyone.
There we go. Lola's on her cot snoring.
Yep.
And her eyes are actually closed, so it's a real sleep, not this is just how she breathes.
Yeah, because both her ears are down too. You can tell when she's not really asleep. She's got one ear up, and it's doing the radar thing.
Yep. For right now, she's not wooing randomly. She did that earlier when there was no audience.
Earlier today, I was sitting at my desk, or this evening after dinner, actually, I was sitting at my desk, and she was laying at my feet, and just out of the blue, she starts doing that wooing.
Yeah, and kept it going. I thought it was going so bad, I was like, did JB leave the office and I didn't realize it? Because I was laying on the bed, the coolest room in the house. I would actually get to have cold toes if I stay in the bedroom long enough. And so I pulled back the curtain between that window and the office, and he was there, and she's just crying.
Yep.
Dramatic girl.
And she didn't stop crying until I bent down next to her and she rolled over for belly rubs.
She wanted your love and affection.
Yep.
I mean, as do we all. The things I have done for some butt rubs.
That's true. That's true.
So. Hi, Kim.
Hello. Yeah, I know, right?
Um, what else? I read a whole book today. They are very short books, y'all. They are pure brain candy. It is like eating. It's cotton candy kind of candy. It melts. The moment it touches your mouth, that kind of is not. There's no deep thinking involved. I will say the past couple ones have been like really cozy. Like they're all romances. You know how they're going to end. But the one I read in between dinner and the stream, there was no angst because it was one of those where it was like we were current day, air quote that, because we're on an ice planet with blue barbarians. We're current day, and that character is thinking back to how she met her fated mate. So you knew they were going to end up together. Like it was easy. It was mostly just anxiety and sex. It was both delightful and painful. So, because they are blue alien silent. They are on an ice planet. They are ice planet barbarians. They are blue. They have horns. They have tails. And they have spurs on their dicks, which hit both the clit and your asshole just right, according to the lore of the books. Yeah, they're blue, and these human women and these barbarian aliens have babies who are, some of them come out, you know, the skin tone of their mother, but with horns like their father. It's very interesting. There's horns, yeah, and the only hair they have is the hair on their head, which they refer to as a mane. And every time they one of the aliens calls their head of hair a mane, my brain just puts in a horse head, and it's like, no, that's not sexy. And I think they have a little hair on their tail, which is quite sensitive, but apparently the rest of them's just fully hairless. And I'm like, okay, I mean, oh, Silent Eye. So here's what I learned. I got to book 15, 16, somewhere in there, and I started reading the author's note at the end. I don't know why I hadn't for the first 15 books or so. And she's explaining that she's going to do an offshoot of this same series on the same planet, but like a different group of them. And I was like, oh my God, this is the song that never ends. But part of it is people who've been reading the series and love it and are just like, you know, total stands up about it. Apparently they want every couple they hear about, they want to know their story. They're very formulaic, and I don't care. I can absolutely shut my brain off. I know what's going to happen. One of them, alien or human, is not going to trust or like the other one, or think something's weird. The aliens are like, they are devoted to their partners, but sometimes there's like angsty feelings. And then there's going to be like hot, crazy sex because a symbiote that lives within them and keeps them alive on this alien planet makes them. And then they're going to have babies, and there's going to be angst, and somebody's going to be like worried about a thing, but it's never going to really come to pass. And then they're going to get a happy ending, and it's rinse and repeat. And I took a break from the series for a while, and then I kind of wasn't reading because I was like, ugh, I just don't have the brain power. And I went, you know what? I want to read, but I don't want to have to think. So I went back to this series, and now I'm like in it. Yes, DS Bunny, that series, Katie she's about to release like publicly, like where everybody can get to it, the final book of the series, but all the other books are currently on Kindle Unlimited. They're so good, and the demon with horns for eyes is fascinating. Oh, no, X. You don't actually have to be, so you don't have to be good. You don't have to be like writing literature to write good smut. It just has to be good enough that some amount of readers can suspend their disbelief. I could take a red pen to the Ice Planet Barbarian books and rip it to shreds. That is not what the fuck I'm reading it for. I know what I'm reading. I get it. There's no judgment. I just need to turn my brain off. That's it. And these let me do it. And I still get dicks with spurs to hit the clit. Fated mates, hot crazy sex, guaranteed happy endings, a little bit of fun with the cultural differences and the language differences, and that's delightful. No, I mean, do I like Katie Roberts? They are amazing, right? I will read anything Katie Roberts writes, even older stuff that I can tell skill and talent has shifted and changed and grown over time, because that's well, like, much of what I've read is just well written. It is put together beautifully, and the smut is hot, yes, but also sometimes you just want cotton candy for your brain. No nutritional value, not gonna even stay with you for very long, probably give you a toothache. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Well, Silent, I'll say, yeah. Phrases like meat pole, if it yanks me out of the story, there was one, oh God, I know I bitched to you about it. I don't remember what series it was. I don't even think I read the whole one of it. But there was some terminology they kept using over and over again to talk about genitalia, and every time I was like, I'm crying here. I'm in this story with you. I'm going on this journey with you. I am ignoring the glaring editing issues. But if you use that word, whatever that word was, that word one more time, I am going to lose my shit.
Now, see me. I was so enthralled with the Inked series.
That was a good series.
Yeah, I've started reading another series by her.
Yes, and I'm glad you had me do it.
The Lightning Conjurer.
Is it as good, better, or this?
It's a little different. It's a little slow in the beginning.
Are we world building? Is that why it's slow?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
But it's starting to get interesting now.
Okay.
And I'm not that far into the book, but I already like the characters.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, that helps. If I don't give a fuck about the characters, I can't move forward. I love historical romance. It's the very first kind of romance and smut I ever read, and I probably would not care for the 80s and 90s bodice rippers now. I'd like to think I'm evolved, but I hold a fondness in my heart for that kind of stuff. So when I see historical romance come through, and it's like, truly like there's romance and maybe some spice and no closed door, nothing, I will almost always give it a shot. But when I finally decided that I could DNF a book, and if you don't know what that means, it just means do not finish. Like, you started it and you went, fuck this shit, I'm outie, right? I usually don't do that, which means it can take me 6 months to read something or to read it all, because I'm like, I can't just not finish the book, so I just won't go back to it, but won't start a new book. I know that sounds crazy. Anyway, the first books I was willing to DNF were historical romances that we were 13% in, and I'm like, I hate everybody here. I can't do this. So I haven't gone back to historical romance on my Kindle Unlimited account because I'm so sad that the things I was DNFing the most were those. It was so sad. It was so sad. We all know how I feel about BDSM. Hello, we're here. It's loving BDSM. And I have not recently gravitated towards any like kinky smut. I have not. Now I'm happy when I see it. I have been a little like about there being 21 books, and I'm on book I think 18 of a 21 book series about fated mates, blue barbarians with spurs on their dicks, and we haven't gotten really kinky. I think like the second or third book had a character who liked a little bit, like she liked to be spanked. I mean, same girl. She liked like a couple things, and that was it. But it wasn't like kinky in the way I view kinky. And then 2 or 3 books ago, somebody convinced their blue barbarian to pull their hair, and I was like, well, finally, god damn. I also, the whole thing is heteronormative because everybody's got to be fated mates because the women all need to have babies because it's a dying population and a dying, like, people and play. And so there's nothing queer, like, not even hints of it, not even like, hey, maybe I got kidnapped by other aliens as a human and I'm bisexual. I mean, there might have been one bisexual character, but it was like mentioned in passing. Like, nobody's like kind of like hitting on any, blue lady barbarians. I mean, I don't know. There's been one mention, of a situation where it was 2 blue barbarians and their woman, and one of, so you got your triad, and one of the men with the women were the fated mates, but they chose the third partner and they were together forever. And that's wonderful, but we're not getting any of that in practice, so I can't think about this series too hard because then I'll pick it apart and I won't want to finish it. I just need it to be cotton candy for my brain. That's what I need. I just need it to be spun sugar. That's it.
We all need a little cotton candy for the brain once in a while.
Well, and I talked about it a few times. I was struggling to finish that one book.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit bored, and and I finally finished it, and it was a satisfying ending. I got worried for a second there. They really were going to kill off the main character. So I was like, okay, you wrote the tension well, because I know what this is supposed to be, and I got worried. But I realized that I didn't want there to be too much angst. I needed something that lets me completely dissociate from reality for a while. So here we are.
And there we go again.
There we go again. But I don't know if you've even noticed, I don't save those books like, oh, JB, you might want to read Ice Planet Barbarian. I'm like, get rid of that shit. Let's go. Let's clear up space in this Kindle.
But now some of them I have enjoyed. All right. Like,
did you read the Ice Planet Barbarians?
No, that I did not read.
Okay.
But I mean, what I was talking about, some of the different series you have.
Oh, sure.
So
I need Kimberly Lemming's newest book to come out. Apparently, that's not slated to come out till February of 2025. That's the author who wrote That Time I Got Drunk and yeeted a werewolf.
Yeah. God, I love that. I was
that
thinking
series.
those series were good.
Those are books I would buy the physical copies of to keep and then to just to reread because they're just delightful. But yeah, apparently Katie Roberts is reading like a not a fully edited copy, probably to give like a quote for the cover. Or
I know this is terrible because it probably makes you think, why would I even say that when I can't remember the name. I cannot. I really, really enjoyed the series, and if I could buy it, to have a hard copy, what the hell was it? Lattes and Legends. Yes,
I still haven't read it because it's not on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm not buying books. I probably could get it from the library because that's how you got it.
That's how I got it, through Libby.
Do you know what we still haven't done?
Set up Libby on your phone.
I know, because there's other books I want to read that aren't on Kindle Unlimited, but I'm sure I could get through the library.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point now that if I can't, it must be a physical book snobbery, have to read almost anything electronically so I can make it bright enough and I can control the screen brightness and the size of the font even so that my eyes do not get too overly strained. When I try to read a physical book in our own damn house, I would have to turn on the lights that we use for recording for it to be bright enough. And I'd probably still be like, I don't know. It could be brighter. So, yeah. But I'm enjoying Kindle Unlimited. So.
You are.
Because you know what? I can read the trashiest bullshit with no guilt. I'm like, maybe I helped a struggling author make, 25 cents today. Because I read their first attempt at authorship.
Yeah. Well, excuse me. I have found out that I am nothing if not consistent.
Oh, I believe that. Yes.
Okay. I have long time ago I signed up for BookBub.
Mm-hmm.
And every Wednesday I get an email from them, with their list of books for the week. Now, most of the time, because broke ass bitch, I look for the free books that they offer. Lately, they haven't had anything, and it's been because I go through the list and I'm like, oh, that looks really good. I'd like to read that. It's right up my alley. I click it. You've already had this book.
You don't remember what you read either, do you?
Because it's, no.
No. And Mr. Spock, you are correct. I do need to go to the eye doctor. We even have vision insurance. I could go at least get my eyes checked for $15. This is not happening right now. It will, because I do need to, because I'm getting headaches again.
Mm-hmm.
Audiobooks for me are hard. I love a good podcast, but my mind wanders so much when I listen, even to a podcast that I want to, that I don't want to do. Also, I'm very weird about voices. If that the book could be amazing, but if I didn't like the narration, I'd be screwed. So I just stay away from those because I already know I'm not going to remember the story when it's over. But I don't want to not be knowing what's going on while I'm listening to it. Yeah. So for me, it's better to physically read it, because if I accidentally zone out in part of a page, it's easy for me to go back and reread it. But I know how I am with podcast listening, so I was like, no, not audiobooks, not for me. But yeah, I was a pure physical book only until I started needing progressive bifocals, whatever you want to call them. When I could see fully out of my eyeballs at a steady distance with my glasses, I would read physical books. But now that my eyes have changed, my eyesight's changed, I'm struggling.
Yep.
I'm struggling. So Janet Wings mentioned earlier hating when somebody calls periods Crimson Tide. I want to say I was reading something, and God knows I don't remember the book or the series. Every time they were referencing vulva, labia, the vagina in any way, let me just kill the monetization.
Yeah,
and
might as well.
It was petals or flower. I think that was it. Because I remember bitching to you. I was like, if they call this shit, I think it was flower, one more damn time, I'm going to lose my shit. So, yeah, no. Mm-mm. And see, I think what the author was doing was being in the head of the character. The character was really shy and nervous and whatever, and sheltered upbringing. As somebody who used to put her literal cooch on the internet, I have never had a need to name my bits and pieces that often. So in a story narration, for me to constantly be reading about flowers and fucking petals, I was like, no, this is a step too far. I wish I could remember which book that was or series that was.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
God, that was good.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so good. Yeah. I mean, I think that would, I would be less inclined to be thrown out of a story. If I read Venus Flytrap, I'd probably laugh my ass off. It is officially 10 o'clock. We're going to keep chatting about probably other random things, but the Q&A portion is officially here now that it's 10 o'clock. So the way this works is you use the live chat. You can ask a question. Please tag us in the question. It lights up for us so we see it, especially if the chat actually like moves with any speed. So just type @ and then loving BDSM and it should auto-populate and you just and ta-da, and we're tagged. When you ask your question, it should only take up one text box. If you have so much context and details that you have to share that you literally run out of characters to ask the question, you know, in one text box, this will not be the right venue for it. You can use our contact link in the description box and send your question to us that way. You can ask us anything about us. You can ask us about your kink situation. You can ask about some kink thing in general. Our lovely moderators are here, and they have our full blessing and permission to put you in a corner if you spam the chat, especially if you ask a question you don't think we're getting to your question fast enough, or if anybody's inappropriate in the chat. So, all that being said, we'll keep chatting. Hopefully JB comes back soon. But feel free if you have a question to put it in live chat. A dripping love cave, maybe a love canal. That's another one. I understand that what the basic interior shape of a vagina is, but I don't need to think about channels, canals, or caves. Thank you, Taishu. Yeah. Now silence grossing us all out with terms that can be used to describe
oh dear,
genitalia. Okay, Claire, you are not wrong. I have realized I am at an age where I can no longer relate to the sheer amount of moisture that is dripping down thighs. And our blue barbarians, their women are just, not only do they all seem to be squirters, which good for them if only humans that are squirters got abducted from Earth. So happy for them. But also the sheer amount of wetness when they're turned on. I'm like, no, can't relate to that. Can't. Also, I hope you're drinking enough water. That sounds like you're gonna get dehydrated. I think you're gonna get dehydrated. Okay, Ms. Woodhouse asks, advice on what to expect and how to survive your first kinky DS breakup. I can't tell you what to expect because it'll depend on the breakup. Mm-hmm. Like, was it a sad thing where, like, you just couldn't move forward together? Was it one person was shitty to the other? Was it one where somebody found out they were being lied to? Was somebody ghosted? Like, what to expect? Because that's all dependent on all of those. Surviving it 1 minute at a time, I think, until you get to the point where you're 1 day at a time and then you're 1 week at a time. Mm-hmm. What I always say is, I don't care how long or short the duration of the power exchange was, any sadness you feel, any grief you feel, that's valid. So if it feels appropriate to grieve, like if that's the kind of the way you would think about how you feel, then you get to grieve. There's no rule on how long the relationship had to be and, quote, how serious it had to be and whatever for you to get to feel awful about it. I think it's also valid if some people fully step away from kink for a while. They just don't want to be around it. And some people jump into, I want to be with my friends, I want to make friends, I want to learn more about kink on my own. And some people do some combination. However that is for you, that's valid. I do think if it feels right, this is a time to learn about what kink means to you, or to expand your kink community so that you have, at some point in time, if something like this ever happens again, you have people in your life who maybe understand better than non-kink friends or family ever would. Yeah. What would you say?
I would say, get out and do something, get a hobby. That's, something that's not something that you did before, something new that you've been wanting to try. Good time to do that. And, it helps you get your mind off things.
Mm-hmm.
And, hopefully you're doing something that you enjoy and want to be doing there.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a grieving process.
Yeah.
If that was an unwanted breakup. But the variables change depending on kind of how it happened, right? Like it might be a little bit more bearable if it was a mutual thing, right? Like if you just realized you were at different places in life, or one of you moving across the country and you didn't want to do long distance, that sucks and you'll be sad. But that's one state of being and one way of feeling about yourself and the relationship and how you view kink or whatever, versus the person who got ghosted, the person who realized they were being lied to, And so I think that whatever that process looks like, it's ultimately kind of, it's okay. So if you are so hard, the only DS breakup I've ever had, I barely ate for 2 weeks, to the point that my best friend was worried about me. And she knew that I had been broken up with, but she didn't know it was kinky because that was a quite vanilla friend. And she just tried to be there for me until I could kind of come back to myself a little bit, right? But little by little, I did come back to myself. Part of it was because I had the support of friends. Part of it was because I had other things in my life I had to focus on. I had kids. I had a job. I was a single mom. Like I didn't really get to like go curl up into the fetal position like I wanted to. So I just barely ate for 2 weeks, and it really made her nervous. She was enticing me with sweet teas and French fries because she knew the way to my heart.
She knew your weakness.
Yep, she did. and it did eventually work.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a little by little, day by day thing. And I ended up meeting JB in the middle of that, and I didn't want a fucking relationship when I met him. That's not what I was looking for. And I think that's valid too. I think some people want to jump right back in, and I'm a cautious person who'd be like, but do you though? But it's, we all cope in different ways. I think the biggest message I always want to give to people, though, is that, let yourself grieve. Let yourself be sad. Let yourself be miserable. You can't live in that place, right? That usually does not end well. It's not usually great for your mental health. It can be really bad for just your life in general. But a lot of people think that I was only with them for a few months, or it was long distance, or nobody, they never even met my family. And so they try to invalidate their own feelings. No. And if it feels like the worst breakup you've ever had because it was power exchange and everything else has been vanilla, it probably is your worst breakup. That's okay.
Yeah.
I felt that way. And I've had a lot of people tell me that's what it feels like. If they've gone from being vanilla to now they're kinky, and this is their first kinky relationship or their first breakup, it's devastating. That's real. You should not have to feel like you have to qualify your feelings or explain them or, do that. Well, maybe it's not really that bad and I'm just making something out of nothing. If it feels devastating, it is. And that's okay. What I want for anybody who has to go through something like that is to have a community, online or in person, that you can actually talk to about it. That was probably the hardest part for me. There was nobody in my life at the time that I could sit down and go, I let this, I thought this person was going to be like my person for a while, and we did these really intimate, vulnerable things, and this was power. Nobody in my life at the time was somebody I could tell that to. And so I carried a lot of that and had that bottled up. Thankfully, I had a blog. So I just wrote my heartbreak. And I think that did help. So if you don't have somebody to talk to, but you can journal or Google Doc or like however you get thoughts out of your head and into the world in some way, I would recommend that too. But, okay. I don't know how much that actually helps, because I don't think there's anything that helps when there's a breakup. I just don't. I think it's just a time thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Spock asks, yes, it does. Mr. Spock asked, how do you actually survive in this weather? We've been here almost a week, and I'm pretty sure I melted 5 days ago. We do not leave our house.
Right.
We hibernate.
You
Turn the AC on?
Right. If we do have to leave
Hunker
the
down.
house, we run from the house to the car and turn the AC on full blast.
We bitch about it when we get out of our vehicle, but here's how you know you've got the AC in the car right. When you get out of your vehicle, if you are wearing glasses, they fog up. Is it a pain in the ass?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but you know you were nice and chilly. And then the bliss of walking into another air-conditioned building and your glasses defogging real quick.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not going to flea markets, farmers markets, outdoor nothing. There's not a festival you could pay me to go to. We are mowing our lawn right as the sun is coming up.
Yeah.
It is. For a while, we would go, we're better about it now because sometimes we just don't have a fucking choice. You got to go to the grocery store at 2:00 on a Saturday, right? But we would go in the evening or early morning, not just to avoid crowds, which is a big part of it, to avoid the fucking heat. Yep. And whatever you do, grocery shopping is the last fucking thing you do. Yeah. We don't get the luxury of leaving our groceries in the car until about January. Mm-hmm. So, no, we are hibernating.
Yep.
Hibernating.
Yep. Just like folks who have winter, y'all kind of hibernate in the winter.
And Mr. Spock, you cracked me up. You were in Georgia.
Right?
I remember that. No, we don't survive it. We hide from it. And we're still hiding. And it is September. And we'll be hiding in October. Yep. I remember the last time we took the kids trick-or-treating, we were still living in the condo. We went to that nice neighborhood.
Yes.
Our crazy neighbors talked us into going, and they were nice enough, but they were too chaotic for me.
Yeah, they had some issues.
Their kids were sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids got along with our kids. They were like, let us tell you which neighborhood to go to get the good candy. And it was for the kids and for the one shot of vodka I got to do, it was a great experience.
Oh yeah. This
but
neighborhood,
that was sweltering.
Yeah. The neighborhood, they had all the houses with the candy, and the whole neighborhood pretty much
they all participated
because the houses were all done up. But there was one house that they were giving out candy, but then they had a table for the adults where they were giving out boosts.
It's delightful.
Yeah.
But my whole point to that,
Adult
other than to go
boosts.
down a delightful memory lane, because I am apparently the parent who needed to be a little tipsy to make it through trick-or-treating, because that was the last fucking time I went to shit like that. But that was October fucking 31st, and we were all sweating our asses off, and it was already dark. Like, the sun was gone, and the humidity was still there, and we were just sticky. And then you get little kids who are hyped up on sugar, but also, and love their costume, but also now they're hot and miserable, and they don't want to carry anything, and they don't want to wear the mask anymore, and they don't really want to wear the clothing anymore, except you have them down to their underwear in the costume, because that's the only way they were going to survive. You do not wear layers. Mm-hmm. In that kind of heat and humidity.
Well, that's okay. I remember as a kid a few times, didn't matter what costume you had. It was so cold, had to bundle up. To go trick or treat,
I am a definite Southerner. I've never had that experience. Okay. Shannon Wings asked, how do you process certain things that left a negative impact on you in a DS dynamic after it ends? It depends. Yeah. Sometimes it's therapy, truly. Sometimes it's just time, and getting firmer with understanding what you personally will accept and not accept. And none of us accept, are okay with somebody treating us badly. But what those moments can do, if we're able to process them this way, is teach us what we will, what to look for in the future and what we don't have any tolerance for. In a ideal world, it helps you catch things earlier. We talk about bad tapes being a not, like we talked about in this week's episode, not being great because it puts you back in this position of treating a current day partner based on a memory of how you were treated and what you went through in the past. But sometimes that bad tape is protective. It is telling you that, hey, this person is reminding me of that person. And if that's what if being reminded and going, oh, hell no, we're not doing that again, is what helps you get rid of somebody or avoid somebody, because you can kind of see the red flag, or you have that similar feeling, and it feels like it did with that other person. Sometimes that's a good alarm system. But time, sometimes it's the right person, sometimes it's the right community, sometimes it's, getting away from all of it and starting from scratch, so to speak. It's one of those things that depends. We can't just wish away trauma, and if it was a traumatizing experience, then that has to be processed in whatever way it can be processed. So yeah, it's there's no like, oh, if I just do this, ta-da, like, no, I joked then, I joke now, that JB had to climb crazy high my trust walls, like the walls around my ability to let somebody in were like 6 feet thick, like, get the fuck away from me, right? And I knew he was the right one for a lot of reasons, but one of those reasons is his patience and his willingness to earn my trust over and over and over again. Most people, unless they're some kind of like psychopath, they don't have the time, tolerance, or patience for that. They'll be gone. And you know what? I'd rather have that. I'd rather them not be able to handle it and take the trash out, on their own, and wait for the person who can handle it. That can mean that you're single for a long time, and sometimes that's what you need, is just to be single for a long time. But it's different for everybody. It really is. What would you say?
I think you pretty much summed it up. You said it all.
So, hi, Nikita's World. So, yeah, I am not, for trick-or-treating, I am not the one who's going to answer the door and pass out candy. I am, except for that last time, I'm not the one to walk a child around the neighborhood. We took advantage when the kids were little, before I think I was still doing it when we were long distance, is we would go to those, I hate them, but we would go to either the mall for trick-or-treating.
I went with you one year.
Or we would do a trunk or treat. If you are not familiar with a trunk or treat, they are usually, but not always, organized by churches, and this is the South. Florida is not just Disneyland and Disney World, and Miami. It is the South. There are a lot of churches here. It's usually organized by a church, where people will pull their cars up into a parking lot, open up their trunk, and they'll fill it with candy, and then kids from the church, the community, whatever, you walk the path in your little costume, trick or treat, and you get candy from every car. Yep. I did that for a couple years before we moved to the Tampa Bay area. I didn't like it then. That feels like a cattle call. The mall is the same way, because by the time you get to the store and you make this like rotation, the poor mall employee or store employee is just looking so done.
Yep.
And it just feels like you're walking, and the trunk or treats are like this, especially if it's a small one. You're just walking in a stuffed line with way too many people with a handout, and it's to me, it's a very uncomfortable thing. But it was a way to take the kids and not have to worry about what neighborhood we were in. Yeah. Did that neighborhood do trick or treat? But you just
And another year, I think it was when we were living in Clearwater, we went to the ball field.
That one was
the Phillies.
That one was an interesting one, because it was done in a trunk or treat style.
Yes.
Yep. It was, for me, that was way too chaotic, because it was way too many people. There's a lot of interesting things there, and if I could have relaxed enough to like take that in, me and the youngest were like on fucking edge the whole time, and the oldest and JB were like, yeah, this isn't bad. Okay, let's look around.
That's kind of cool. Let's stop here. What can we get?
But me and the youngest were like, this is too many goddamn people. This is too much noise. It's hot, because it's even on Halloween, it's fucking hot around here. we were just ready to go. He and I did not care about candy by the end of that night. Oh my God. Way too overstimulating. So.
Yeah. And here, with only the first year that we were here, we gave out candy.
Here in this house?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was COVID time, so we did a bowl at the end of the driveway.
I put a bowl at the end of the driveway, and I sat up by the garage door.
Yeah, and I make myself scarce.
We're nowhere to be found.
I sit on the couch and I read.
You were nowhere to be found.
Nope, no, I'm not doing it. Well, and the thing is, watching the parents who walk their little kids, our overall neighborhood, not just our specific street, there's lots of kids around here. And so there's, kids go out trick-or-treating, but our street is the most and best well lit of the whole area. And so I get why a lot of people come down our street. But the first year, a lot of the people who'd been here 20 years were still here, and they had serious holiday traditions, including Halloween, and everybody was out. But by the next year, half those people had moved or died, quite frankly. Yeah. And so people still come down the street, but most of us have our lights out. We're not putting out candy. Candy's fucking expensive. We're in Sam's, at the end of August, beginning of September. And I'm like, first of all, why I can't buy the Halloween candy in September. It'll be gone before October. So I'm not going to do that. But also, this bag has like 50 pieces. It's Sam's Club. This is supposed to be bulk. This bag has 50 pieces of candy in it, and it's $40? Are you fucking kidding me? Nah. So, yeah. No, I'm... The oldest, I think he started doing things with like high school friends for Halloween. And the youngest is much like his mother. He does not want to be around the people, the noise, the chaos.
Nope.
Stay his ass inside. So, I'm not mad about that. I'm kind of fucking grateful. Oh my God. And then I understand why. I get it. But as a non-creative, non-crafty kind of parent, it was very frustrating because in school for Halloween, if they were going to celebrate Halloween or if it fell on a school day, you could come in costume as long as your costume could be related back to a book character. That was a nightmare. Thankfully, I was able, one year, both kids wanted to be Transformers, or one was a Transformer and one was Iron Man, and I was like, oh yeah, there's definitely books in the library with Iron Man and Bumblebee or whoever it was. But there was one year where they were like, oh no, you can only do, they wouldn't let you do a certain thing, and the youngest couldn't decide what he wanted to do. And I was like, but he wanted to dress up for Halloween, even though he also hated dressing up for Halloween. Now that we know more about him, all of that makes sense. And I got a sheet and I cut holes out for the eyes and nose.
I remember that.
So he was a ghost. He was the saddest looking ghost. He just cried. He was like, I don't want to wear this, Mommy. I was like, I just ruined an old bed sheet for this. No. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm glad we don't have to do that anymore. I did try to get the oldest when he was into Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I was like, I can't remember what that character's name is. Greg? Is it Greg? Is Greg the main character? I was like, you could be Greg.
I remember Rowley.
Oh, yeah.
Your friend, but
none of the kids would ever want to be Rowley. No. Bless his heart. I was like, dude, wear jeans and a striped t-shirt.
Yeah.
Carry your Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. Ta-da. And he was like, that's so lame, Mom.
Hey, be grateful he didn't want to be Captain Underpants.
I'd like to think
a cape and tidy whities.
That would have delighted me, and I would have tried to find a way to make that work for him. He should have tried to be Artemis Fowl. Then he could have gotten himself like a nice little suit. Mm. Yeah, no. See, the problem was I was trying to be... Those early days of freelancing, so I was home with them a lot more than I had ever been before.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be the kind of parent I'm actually not, which is really involved, trying to be creative, trying to and the more I hadn't learned the lesson yet, that the more I suggest, the more they hate, even if it was an idea that they themselves said 6 months prior, the moment it came out of my mouth as a suggestion, even to just remind them that it was their idea previously, it was immediately rejected. And so, yeah. I'm glad we don't have to do that anymore, is my whole ass point.
Yeah.
Just a reminder for anybody joining us, we are in, even though we're talking about the most random show, we are in the Q&A. So if you have a Q, we will just please tag us in the chat and don't spam the chat to get our attention. And if it takes up more than one singular text box for live chat, then it's too much for this forum, and you can contact us through our website to ask that question. I think I said all the things. Did I say all of the things?
I think so. I'm a little distracted tonight.
I noticed. You doing okay?
Yeah, no, I've been tinkering with stuff. Do you remember how I used to get the bit rate?
Yeah.
You haven't seen it tonight, have you?
I had not noticed, but no. You have been tinkering.
Yeah. And then I went into the router and made this computer a dedicated streaming machine, so when it's streaming, the router knows to give it priority.
Wow.
And,
wow.
And
you
then
were messing with the thermostat.
And that 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It already went offline again.
God damn it. What is up with our thermostat?
It was the power glitch.
I know that, but I mean, you thought you had gotten it back online.
Yeah, and I did have it back online.
So why can't it stay online?
Has no staying power.
It happens.
Yep.
You should see your doctor about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not calling the HVAC folk out for the damn thermostat, though.
Fuck that.
Fuck them.
Yeah,
Lord.
that too.
So, Greenie, thank you for the chaos starting question, because this will probably be waffles or pancakes. Waffles or pancakes.
Waffles.
I mean, both. If I have to make them, I'm going to choose pancakes, because then I don't have to clean the waffle iron. If I'm at a restaurant I've been to and I already know I like their food, I can go either way. Depends on what toppings you put on it. No.
Yeah, but the thing is, if we were home and you made the waffles, you cook, therefore you don't do the dishes, so it wouldn't be you cleaning the waffle iron.
Not now, but for a while there, every time I made waffles, I also had to clean the waffle iron. I think you got fed up with the waffle iron at one point, and I had to go, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And then I don't remember why, but there were several times, and I was like, I don't want to make waffles. I'll just make pancakes. I have discovered I am more of a savory person for breakfast these days. And so to even have waffles or pancakes, I have to be in a very special mood. And quite frankly, my first choice will be neither of those, and it will be French toast if I'm having a warm, sweet breakfast.
There you go. So waffles, pancakes, or French toast.
And I'm French toast all the way. And also, we went to that diner that is literally up the street from us, and we didn't even realize it was so close. And they had cinnamon roll French toast, and that was the best fucking shit I've ever had in my life. I do not drench any of it in syrup, though. I'll put syrup on it, but I'm a very light, delicate, a little bit of syrup. But that is not JB's life. JB's life.
Gotta drench it, man. You gotta.
If there's a dry part, then you've done it wrong. It
needs to be covered with cereal. Or cereal. Oh my God.
I called it Disneyland a minute ago, so you're fine. Now, I'm a butter girl. There's no such thing as too much butter. Please clog an artery and let me put more butter on. I mean, you could silent,
right?
But maybe don't. Do you know, all this time, I still have never had chicken and waffles? part of it was when I first started hearing about chicken and waffles, thank you Food Network, I was like, because I didn't know the beauty of sweet and savory yet, or I was like, I don't know. And now I've seen enough reels that used to be TikToks and cooking shows that enough places make it look so fucking good. I'm like, oh yeah, I would like chicken and waffles. But I have the same problem I have anytime I go out to eat, where I get nervous that I might not like it, so that I don't try something new. If somebody else will try it and let me have a bite, that's different. I'm happy to do that. But
no. And see, X and Skyla are with me. They both drench it.
I used to
pour that syrup on.
You know, there came a point, and I don't know when. I don't know if I was an adult already. I don't know if it was before kids or after kids. There came a point where I finally hit oh no, that is too sweet for me. And one of the ways is syrup. I can't experience too much syrup. I am a ketchup on eggs girl, and I used to pretend that I wasn't for a long time. I was like, but then I kept going, oh God, I don't feel like scrambled eggs anymore. Oh, I'm not feeling scrambled eggs. Oh, I don't want scrambled eggs. And then I realized, bitch, just put your ketchup back on it. You like it that way. It's fine. Does everybody in this fucking house curl their nose up at me? Yeah, they do, but you know what? I'm happy.
And that's fine. You do you. But once you start pouring that on your eggs, I can't even look across the table anymore.
It's just ketchup. It's not that much different than if I put salsa on. It's just pureed and sugarier. Maven asked, do you notice a divide in your community between S&M and Master Slave Total Power Exchange events and people? They seem totally separate here, and like each does not see the other as, quote, real kink. You are more of a community person than I am. Have you noticed anything like that?
I have not noticed that kind of divide, no.
Quite frankly, we have people who are kink aware and don't even consider themselves kinky, and we have swingers who are also kinky but are more into their swinging life who are part of the community. That's like how mixed and jumbled our community is. I notice our community more divided on age lines.
Yes.
More than anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the age line thing is because of the proximity to college town.
Absolutely.
And up there they have their own the next generation, which is all under 30.
Yeah, and then just a college town in general.
Yeah.
You know, certain times of the year, most of the crowd's going to be like 21.
Yeah.
There have been many times you've taken me to community events, and I'm either right at the average age or I bring the average age down. Okay. But we go to Gainesville for something, and it's been ages since we have. But that one time I was like, wow, I could be these people's mother. Oh, I'm bringing the average age of this room up by existing here. No, I mean, have I heard about the different divides in a community? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there are plenty of people who try to convince us that kink is only non-monogamous people, because part of the community they have found has been primarily non-monogamous people, and they haven't found their monogamous kinky friends yet, right? So I absolutely believe divides can occur.
Sure.
I think that's a leadership problem, and what I mean by that is you've got community leaders putting groups together and then probably either not talking to one another at all, or maybe having their own feelings about the other part of the community, and that shit trickles down. Every community we've ever kind of been a part of, there would be however many events there would be run by different people, and those people were all talking to one another.
Right.
They might not be friends, they might not fucking love one another, but this group knew about this group's events. They would try to they'd try to coordinate, they'd plan shit together. We used to have, and it still does, some munches will travel to this community and they'll and there's just a lot of crossing because the community leadership is working together.
There's a I've noticed on FET there's a group called the TOG, the older generation, and they do takeovers quite frequently. They'll post, we're taking over Phoenix Club, or we're taking over Woodshed
I saw one of
or,
those the
or
other
you
day.
know,
Yeah.
some other place. So they'll do things like that. They'll just go in and
I think people put themselves in their own silos, and then all it takes is a little bit of groupthink of a one true way kind of thing, even if they would not call it that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get in your group of people, and your group of people is where you're comfortable,
Right.
and a specific group will have its norms, and then anytime they're kind of confronted with something that's outside of that group's norms, if they're not doing it often enough, if they're not crossing paths often enough, then it's weird, and what's happening here? And it can be very alienating to people trying to come in and find their community. You're like, I found this group and I found that group, and you're like, wow, we got two, like, it's like they exist separately when they really shouldn't. I've just never personally been in those situations. Quite frankly, most of the time I walk into a room and I feel like I'm not. I know I'm not, but I'm like, I'm the least extreme person here.
Yeah.
Y'all are doing some shit I can't even fathom.
I mean, I was trying to think, even back to, in the Tampa Bay area, but no, there wasn't. Now, I was surprised coming here, seeing the number of swingers that attend.
There's something
the
about
Munches
Central
and so-
Florida, man, that just attracts the swingers.
In the Tampa Bay, that was
Was very separate.
That was a very separate thing.
Yeah. But here it's just all...
But here, whether you're master slave, or high protocol, or daddy,
hell.
caregiver little, and whatever, they're all...
Yeah. Well, even the local mass group, I know you haven't been in a hot minute, the title is Master and Slaves Together, thank you. And yet the whole shtick is they welcome everybody.
They welcome everybody.
That's
Yep.
my point. They formed a group that literally has Master Slave in the title, and yet they make it clear that they welcome all power exchange dynamics, right?
Yeah.
So like it really is about who is leading that community. And to me that becomes a failure of those organizers. Not that they're doing anything wrong within their own community, but are they having conversations with other community leaders?
And I mean, in all fairness, to a certain extent, you can have people who have a power exchange without having any sadism.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely.
And you can have, a sadist and masochist
Absolutely.
without going anywhere near
But they
a power
absolutely
exchange.
can't exist in the same room together
yes.
and have coffee together.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the problem that people silo themselves into, this is my comfort zone, and these folks I think are like me, or I know they are like me, and then I spend so much time with just people who are a lot like me that when somebody who is not like me comes in, either I don't know how to respond well, or I give off a vibe that the newcomer's like, am I even welcome here?
But I mean, it's all under the same, power exchange.
It's all fucking BDSM.
Right. That's, the letters are all together and interchangeable. BDSM.
They really are. That's the part I'll never understand.
I know.
The people who say, well, I'm not like you. And I read these fucking articles all the time. They're talking about kink separate from certain other aspects of BDSM. I'm like, it's all fucking BDSM. You might not have a negotiated power exchange. You might not use the language of it, but baby, impact is impact. It is what it is. How you feel about it personally as an individual, that's fine. But what you're doing, it's all under one roof.
Yep. No.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate when groups silo themselves. I think it is okay to have a group that is more focused on sadism and masochism, and a group that is focused on power exchange. I think that part is fine. But the fact that human beings contain multitudes, and there will be plenty of people who are crossover, I think it's a failure from the community organization that they don't cross-pollinate a little bit. Like, let's do a thing together once or twice a year, right? Let's do a group munch. Let's do a thing. Let's not because, you've got to like them and we just so, hey, let's get each other used to the fact that this is not the only way there is your kink. Right. I just think it does a disservice to the overall community because there are so many people who will be a little bit of both. So, I made myself hot and sweaty.
Worked yourself up on that one.
Did. Bad Cat asks, I was just wondering if the woodshed could be used for a small weekend convention. I'm interested in what the group you mentioned did and how it worked. I have no idea. They do. Yeah. The woodshed does its own events or sponsors events or hosts events. But I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't have an answer to that.
That is something you would have to reach out to the woodshed. Master Cecil or
Darcy.
Serving Winch.
All I could remember is she's Darcy. I couldn't think of her.
Yeah.
But do they have the room and space for it and the knowledge? Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes. Because the woodshed is 2 different rooms that are combined together. You've got basically Dungeon A and Dungeon B.
Right.
And God knows Orlando has the fucking knowledge and the skill to do something like that.
Yep.
And does the woodshed, is it fire?
Yes.
Do they host it at the woodshed or they
no,
just okay?
It's off I think they did originally
when it was new and small.
When it was new and teeny tiny. Now it's like a hotel takeover.
Yeah. Yeah, because fire it's like known nationally. Yeah,
now at this point, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Silent, what you were describing sounds like a shit show.
Yeah.
And I'm just amazed that they would be allowed to come back for their munch the next month after some bullshit like that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. When you're in a public space, especially if it's not a private area, no, you don't talk about certain things. Number of the munches.
You certainly don't behave in a certain way.
Well, yeah. And, we used to attend the West Pasco. They had a private room in the restaurant. The community munch here, they have a private room all the way in the back.
And you kind of go where you can go. We had a friend who had started a munch here in town right before COVID times. And the space they could find that would say, yeah, you can we'll make space for 15 people, because it was a brand new thing. That was, unfortunately, in the center of the restaurant. And so, we were more subtle. We were more discreet. Yeah. I do prefer it personally when I know we're tucked away. Not because I'm going to say something. Most likely, I'm not going to say much other than drop a few F-bombs. I mean, that's more likely to happen than you'll hear me speaking loudly about kink in public. But I like that feeling of, yeah, technically you still gotta be careful and you can't, don't run your mouth, don't be stupid. But it is much less likely. I'm actually personally usually more concerned for our servers because it's like sometimes they will go, oh yeah, I know what this is about. They're kink aware, kink friendly, or they're kinky, and it's great. It's wonderful. And sometimes they're brand new, wide-eyed little innocents, and it's like, oh shit, okay. Okay.
Fire is a rope. It's centered on rope.
I don't remember what the letters stand for.
I cannot think of it either. But yeah, it's basically got to do with rope tying, riggers, and
yeah, it's a convention, Kinky Con for
tying,
for rope.
Rope, yep.
And apparently they get some of like the most well-known, well-renowned kinky rope folk
riggers and stuff
to come demo and teach and whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Now I'm curious.
Now you.
Now, I mean,
I can see the logo.
Yeah.
In my head.
oh yeah.
But. Yeah. No. What's the other one that is hosted in the Tampa Bay area?
FPE.
Florida Power Exchange. Yep. Never got to go to that one either.
No.
Look, we just gotta wait till we're not actively parenting anymore.
Oh, you'll just find another excuse.
Really? That's what we're.
Yep. Fire. Weekend of Advanced Rope Education. Does not say what it.
Silent did the workforce. Florida Intense Rope Experience.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Silent. I'm gonna go get myself something to drink.
So, but yeah, that's apparently that's become a big thing for them. They started out very small. They were hosting it. I forget which hotel, and apparently they were not invited back to the hotel they were at, so they had to scramble at one point to find another place, and they did, and they've been keeping it going. But yeah, it is sponsored by Woodshed, and it's a heck of a thing. It's a heck of a thing, and they do a lot of stuff. And I believe, well, if Kim's not here, but Rara, they do like a smut writers con or some kind of or weekend or whatever they have. But they have something like that there. They do so many things at the Woodshed. They're a good bunch of people, and even Phoenix Club, they don't do quite as much like Woodshed does, but yeah, they're good. They're good. So, but yeah, there's a lot of things that go on here in Florida like that. There's the FPE, Florida Power Exchange. There's Fire, and then in Southeast Florida, there's Beyond Leather. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that go on here. Welcome back.
Thanks. Yeah, the nice thing about being where we're at in Florida, we're actually within driving distance too. There's
Yes.
stuff in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and I think New Orleans has some stuff. Birmingham, Alabama, I believe does.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I actually would not mind going to a kinky convention. I'm no longer at a point in headspace I could do it by myself like I did my first eroticon. Nope. I'm not built for that anymore. But yeah. X, that's probably true.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true.
Because quite frankly, I remember the name Fire, but it's the logo.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Oh yeah, the logo they have for it is really cool.
So
Yeah.
I feel like somebody had a piece of art and they were like, or they had like a drawing or like a concept. They were like, okay, let's build out from here.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I feel like a large enough convention, I can just. My worst fear is that I'd get overstimulated because crowds and noise and stuff. But I feel like I could just like disappear in the crowd. I'm one of many. Sit in the back of a workshop space. Let you go up to the microphone for any questions you might have. I can see you doing that. Not me. I'd be like, I'll just Google that later. I'll get their book. That speaker probably has a book. I'll read their book. Get the answer I need.
Yeah. Nope. I'll be up there asking.
I know you would. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you would make friends with the folks who were leading any demos or workshops. Yeah. And then you talk to them very politely afterwards, and then they would remember you for fucking ever. But they would be shocked that you had a partner, because I'll be in that back row of that classroom looking at my phone, taking in the information. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't have a sticker for them, unfortunately.
Sticker board needs just more stickers, or maybe we need to start a new sticker board.
I think it's time to start a new one.
Yeah, but we don't have like new stickers even semi-regularly coming in, so I'll wait till we do and then go from there. But so on Wednesday we started a debate. It's an annual debate. This seems like a perfectly fine time to continue it. I'm not talking about bacon. I'm talking about pie.
Oh, okay.
We've already said. Why would I run the argument about bacon again when it was settled with an election, a vote, and the correct choice won? So I don't need to rehash that one. We can talk about pie.
I think there was election fraud going on there.
Don't even. Nope. So I know where you stand. Apple pie above all else.
Yeah.
What's your second favorite pie?
Blueberry.
That's right. You know what? I've loved blueberries. I would eat fresh blueberries like popcorn. I'll just like shovel it into my face. I don't mind blueberry flavored things. I love me a blueberry muffin or blueberry pancakes.
Yeah.
I do not like blueberry pie. Sometimes it's because it's just too damn sweet. Like I can't. It's sickeningly sweet to me. And sometimes whatever has happened in that cooking process has fucked up the texture of the blueberries. And I'm like, I can't do it.
Really?
And I love blueberries. Don't.
But I'm also that weirdo that probably the only person that likes strawberry rhubarb pie too.
Did I try? I feel like we had an opportunity for strawberry rhubarb or rhubarb in a recent holiday. Was it at like my aunt's house? Did they do something with rhubarb?
Might have been.
I feel like I tasted it and went, meh. I would not. Peach cobbler. Oh, yeah, he won't do a peach.
Nope.
He'll let me do an apple cobbler.
Oh, yeah.
But not a peach cobbler. Oh, my God, my mouth just watered. I love peach cobbler.
Or an apple brown Betty. Or,
yes.
You know.
My mother found a recipe for an apple pecan dump cake, sent it to me, and wanted to know how John would feel about it. I was like, he'd like everything but the pecans. And she was like, okay. So guess what? You're probably getting an apple dump cake.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, strawberry rhubarb pie is different because you get like a mix of sweet and tart.
Yeah, I think that. I feel like the rhubarb had like a crunch to it.
Mm-hmm, it's a little, yeah.
It's got a little. Yeah.
Yep.
My great grandmother and my grandmother both used to make cherry dumplings and blueberry dumplings. I don't really like cherries. I don't mind cherry flavor. It's a texture thing. I don't like how cherries feel in my mouth. And I always liked the dumpling part, because the dumpling part was basically biscuits that were like steam cooked with the fruit and the sugar. But
So I asked him, what about apple rhubarb pie? I have never heard of that combination. I have never heard of it, never tried it.
I bet you would like it though, because the fact you like rhubarb in a strawberry rhubarb pie, and you love apple pie. There are 2 flavors or flavor profiles if you want to win JB over. I'll go ahead and give you this information for free. I won't gatekeep. Apple, or mint chocolate chip. If you've ever got to bribe him for something, come with both. This man currently in the freezer has an apple cinnamon ice cream that I don't even think you've even had yet. Keeps forgetting. And mint ice cream, mini mint ice cream chocolate sandwiches. The sandwich is a chocolate cookie, and the center is mint ice cream.
Mm-hmm. It's like an Oreo.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Okay, that's the size it looks like too.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't snack as much as I used to.
No, you don't. You don't.
You know, and like I said, I weighed in this morning. I've kind of plateaued at 185, but you know, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay with
good.
that. Fit back into most of my clothes again, so I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried the kilt recently? Since
No.
the last time you tried it?
No.
Yeah, I was like, whatever health journey you need to go on, if you'll wear that kilt. Yeah, I'll forget that it's the Sahara down there, is all I'm saying.
Maybe,
The kilt's a panty dropper, if I was wearing them. You're dead sexy in a... I find kilts dead sexy in general. You are dead sexy in a kilt.
I may have to wear it one day for live.
Oh, Lord, I don't know if the folk could handle that. Just saying. You know, and maybe we'll get some, instead of, what was it? What do we call it? Demos for dollars? We'll get a little extra leg. How much thigh? You know, get folks bidding. You got, look, I'll tell you this. Y'all can't ever see it because he, dresses appropriately for a live stream. He's got sexy ass legs. Like, it was the motorcycle riding for like 15 years, I think, that did it. And the lawn work and like the outdoor work. But he kind of has the thighs of a soccer player, and he's not a soccer player. He's got dead sexy legs, y'all. I'm just telling you, okay?
I have to find the pictures back from when I did lawn maintenance.
I bet those
and
legs are sexy.
My mom took the picture. I was up helping out at their nursery, and she took a picture, and I gotta find it. I know I have it because I got it after she died when we went through the albums. But yeah, I look nothing like.
Well, it was 30 years ago.
I know.
Believe me, I don't look like anything from 6 years ago, so it's fine. It's fine. It's so delightful to go find an old video to link to, and I'm like, why was I worried about how I physically looked? I would kill to look like that.
I'll have to look for the picture.
One of my favorite pictures of you is from your 70s, maybe it was early 80s, late 70s, a fringe crop top. His hair, he does not have the kind of hair that actually gets long. It just gets wider.
I had an afro.
You had an afro. Because your hair is very curly. And his crop top, fringe, whatever, you could see his abs. And like, you weren't like rocking a six pack like you spend all day in the gym, but you had the kind of abs that I would have wanted to lick those abs. Look, when I love somebody, am attracted to somebody, want to fuck somebody, their actual physical appearance, like, it's transient. It doesn't matter because it's the person, right? But when I have the occasion to have a partner with some visible kind of musculature. I want to lick it. I don't know why. And I do, and I have, and maybe I will again. I don't know, but oh yeah, yeah. Saying we would. we're gonna pretend that we're not 18 years apart, and that we could have been legal ages together at the same time. I don't know that you would have given me a second look, but if you had worn the crop top, I'd have been like mooning over you, because I'd have been like, oh my god, look at that. But I got to see at all of every weight you've ever been at with me, and when we first got together, you were, I think, not at your heaviest, but you were a heavier weight.
Yeah.
You have always had dead sexy legs. Those legs are muscular. And when he gets on and off a motorcycle, sexy. You do that mount thing and that leg comes up and over. It's sexy. Just saying. I do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I'm just thinking about sexiness, that's all.
All them books you've been reading.
Oh, okay. So, would y'all like to go into the psychedelic rabbit hole that is my mind?
Oh.
Okay, so
please keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times.
I took you on this journey, so this will be familiar to you.
Mm-hmm.
If one, you'll get further proof of how insane I am, but also maybe you'll get a good chuckle. Okay, so I don't know how far back, with the order I have to tell this story. Okay, so yesterday there was a lot of riding in the car, and I can't look up because I get anxious, and then I try and tell JB how to drive, and he would like, just look at your phone, okay? Stop talking to me. Don't look out the window. Look at your phone. So I was reading a lot yesterday, and I zipped through a whole bunch of barbarian alien smut, and I was getting like kind of worked up. And I was like, wow, when we get home, if we're still kind of awake, because it was a late night, I was like, I mean, a girl could be convinced to, I was like, do I rub up on her? Like, I was having thoughts. And then I remembered, and this is where I get weirder than I already am. Thursday nights are a night that I take my testosterone cream, and the testosterone cream only goes one place. Up the and we don't go up the after I've put the cream up there, because then we're just churning butter, and nobody wants that. So I had the choice of, I could skip my dose and rub up on my daddy dom husband, or I could take my dose and continue to start building the feeling of wanting to rub up on my daddy dom husband. And so I opted to take my cream, because I know I got to keep taking the medication for it to keep working, so that I will one day have another day of reading too much smut and want to, throw myself at him, whether he's wearing a kilt or not, right? Whether there's any visible leg showing or not. But in trying to explain to JP what was going on with me, I had to explain more of how my mind works. So I have to take my cream twice a week. And I have strategized on which days I do that, because I want it to be kind of spread out. It is very frustrating that there are 7 days in a week, and that's an odd number, so you can't just like do it like perfectly in it, because I can't have a rotating days. It's got to be 2 set days or I'll never remember. So then I had to think about what days would be best, and I thought, well, we haven't been having sex, but when we have sex, when do we usually have sex? Usually on the weekend. So a Friday night through a Sunday night, we're not using the cream, because churning butter. Middle of the week, it gets kind of iffy. So I was like, okay, perfect days, Monday and Thursday. No, we're not fucking on Mondays. We're tired and cranky, okay? We're not fucking on Mondays. Thursday's right before the weekend. It's a good equidistant time from Monday, and then from Thursday to Monday. And I'm like, okay, it works. The pattern works. So even though the cream is starting to do its job, and I read too much smut and got the effects of the cream doing its job, and wanted to rub against my husband and my daddy Dom and say filthy things for about 30 seconds, and then he has to take over because I don't have more than 30 seconds in me. I couldn't break the cycle of when I take my medicine because it was working, and we were not going to skip a dose because I will forget. If it's Monday and Thursday, I can't do it on a day other than Monday and Thursday, or I will forget. And then I will have missed a dose, and we weren't going to do that. And so that is how he did not get laid Thursday night, even though the medicine is doing its job. So, there you go. Now you know even more about how...
Now you went on the same journey I went on.
And you know
all
what?
Y'all.
Here's the thing. You want to know what? He now knows and remembers just as well as I do that my days are Monday and Thursday. And I said, because I sound insane. I know that. But my days make sense, don't they? And he went, yeah, they make sense. The end result is the same. It makes sense. I'm sorry we all had to go on that path to get there.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry she had to take you on that, journey.
Context is important. Look, you chose this.
That's the fucking scary part.
What does that say about you?
Yeah. I need some therapy.
That's insane. Look, I'm still working on it, but I'm learning to embrace that my thought processes probably don't make sense to a lot of people. But do they get me to where I want to be? Yeah. Do they fucking work? Yeah. Am I mostly efficient? Yeah. Unfortunately, when I'm not efficient, I then can't function because I hate it. But that's a whole other thing.
Yep. Night tissue.
Look, DS Bunny, I think when I was younger, I was like, oh no, don't schedule it. Now I'm like, tell me what time and let's like make it repeatable, because then I know I'm getting it. So I am down for scheduling my fuckery and my fucking. This is mostly scheduling when we're definitely not going to. We haven't really been, because when I went off all the meds and my prescriptions got disrupted, my hormones were way out of whack. It's been bad. And I think it's slowly
I almost took up drinking.
It's slowly improving now that I'm back on meds and some dosages have changed. So I can feel the change, but we're still in the process.
Yep.
For anybody, perimenopausal, menopausal, you had an early hysterectomy, whatever. If you go on HRT, or if you learn about HRT, hormone replacement therapy, the thing I kept hearing before I started it, people online, it wasn't like an ads. I mean, like, these are just people like recording a TikTok or whatever. They would tell me how life-changing it was. They were like, it was like a light switch flipped. I haven't had the switch flip. I've had, you know how long it takes for fucking water to boil? That. I am just now at the point in our boiling water analogy of my medication working. The first little bubble just popped up from the bottom. Like, we're getting close to a simmer. Like, there's steam coming off the top of the pot of water that's not boiling yet. It's heating up. That's where I'm at in this phase right now. Never had the I started taking it and I'm a completely different person. No, we have not had that. No, we have not had that experience. Mm-mm. It's been a very gradual thing. Yeah. I'm now having less hot flashes, but when I do get them, they wake me up from a sound sleep. So that's better-ish. Okay. Oh, sorry, Silent. I have an old-fashioned one that takes 1,000,000 years to heat up. So, for anybody who is just joining, we don't usually just talk about my medication, although we do. And we got derailed off of pie. We need to get back to pie. But if you're just joining us, this is a Q&A as well. It's pure chaos and randomness. And
That's it.
will
Yeah.
A your cues. Just make sure you tag us. Don't spam the chat. There are other things I usually say. I can't think of them. But yeah, if you've got a question, feel free to ask. Yeah, I feel so out of it. I've only recently, like in the past 6 months, heard of induction ovens. And I'm sure they've been around for a hot ass minute, but like it showed up in my algorithmic feed one day and I went, that's fascinating. I have never had a grape pie, Silent.
Never heard of that.
Never. And I don't even like wine, but couldn't we just crush them up and make a alcoholic beverage instead? I love grapes. I am now that person. I never have been a person who eats my grapes in the grocery store. I can't do it. But do we leave the checkout of Aldi and I'm popping open the grapes and shoveling them into my mouth before we even get to the car? Yes. Yes.
Shepherd's pie.
I like a good shepherd's pie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever had an authentic shepherd's pie.
No.
I'm pretty sure I've just had bastardized versions.
No.
But that's fine. I like it. No, raisin pie?
I've heard of that.
I've never heard of it, and I'll eat raisins under certain circumstances, but is there anything else in with the raisin? Because see, you say raisin pie and grape pie, and I'm imagining like a blueberry pie, where it's just stacks and cups of grapes or raisins in a pie shell. Oh, God. Ugh. You know, I have never been a fan of chicken pot pie, and it's not because I never liked the chicken pot part. Every chicken pot pie I've ever had, it's either just been a crust I didn't like the flavor, and you know how I feel about pastry and bread. It was either a crust I didn't like the flavor of, or if it was so overcooked it was like had a burnt taste to it, and it would turn me off the whole damn thing. Now, if you'd scooped out all the guts of said chicken pot pie and just put it in a bowl for me, give me a spoon, I'd eat that all day long. But I've had just enough bad experiences with the pie part of chicken pot pie, and I'm like, no, thank you. I think that might be too many raisins for me, Silent. Okay, I have heard of mincemeat pie. What is mincemeat pie?
I'm not even sure. It's something that's been around.
Oh, yeah.
Long time.
Oh, yeah. I spent most of my childhood reading books that were either like 50 to 100 years old classics to say that I read them, or just books that were outside of my age range, and mincemeat pie came up more often than you would think, and I never knew what that was.
What is mincemeat? It's a sweet and savory mixture of dried fruits, spices, sugar, nuts, distilled spirits, and sometimes meat.
You had me until the sometimes meat part. That does sound everything like what we would put in a fruit cake. I'm sure it's not a fruit cake, but it sounds like what you would. Why is there anything with beef in with? What kind of spices? Like, are we talking cinnamon and nutmeg? Are they savory spices? What are we talking here?
So here's a little history.
Okay.
On mincemeat.
Okay.
It originated in England during the Middle Ages. Was likely brought back from the Middle East by Crusaders. Okay. The original purpose of it was to preserve the meat.
That makes
With
sense.
the sugar and the alcohol.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it was actually a way to use to preserve the meat.
So is it a sweet and savory kind of thing?
Kind of sounds like it. Now, see here, originally it kind of said that sometimes meat, but here it says traditionally mincemeat included beef or venison.
I already know I don't like venison. Too gamey for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Since we're talking about
Fascinating.
That sounded, until you said meat, that sounded to me like what goes in a fruitcake.
Fruitcake, yeah.
Where's your, I can't remember anymore. I think I remember, but I don't want to speak for you. Your stance on fruitcake. So, I thought so, because I think of fruitcake as fruitcake, but you have always were given the Italian version, which was essentially a fruitcake, right? What was that called, though?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. You've blocked it from
It
your
was
memory.
one of those traumatic experiences that I blocked from my memory.
I
mean, yes, everybody else loved the shit. I
and you
couldn't
hate
stand
it. So I do not eat fruitcake, but I have plenty of experience being socialized to be polite above all else, including my own comfort, and have been served fruitcake as a kid and didn't like it. I didn't like the fruit, but I do like cake, and so I just ate around the dried
The pieces of fruit.
And so, by the time I could finally give the plate back, it was just looked like an explosion had occurred. Yes, silent that. I don't know if you spelled it right, but I recognized exactly what you were. It's that stuff. Yeah, he does not like that stuff.
Mm-mm.
No.
No, don't go there.
Before I realized he was only accepting it from his mom or family member at holidays out of politeness and a sense of obligation, before I knew that, I knew we were getting them, and I wasn't going to eat it.
And it went from their hands to my hands to
where, right. I believe one lived at the bottom of our pantry for 2 years before we finally went, we should just get rid of it. So before I realized
I
that's
forgot about that.
right. And see, I was so innocent, I thought he really had forgotten about it. We're in a store of some sort, and I see them, and I go, oh, look, that thing your mom used to give us. And he was like, yeah, let's get the hell away from it. I'm not bringing that shit into my house. I was like, oh, I thought that was a warm family tradition. Okay, never mind. He is not a fan.
No.
I can't even tell you how long we were together until I realized that. I just thought we kept forgetting. I feel like there was a moment where we had multiples hidden in the back corner of a pantry.
Probably.
And we had to obviously
They were
throw them all.
paperweights by that point.
I mean, they were paperweights when they were given to
True.
us.
True.
I mean, they really were.
Yeah.
They really were. No, I never liked anything like that. Sometimes it's mostly a texture thing. I think. I mean, sometimes it's a flavor thing, and sometimes it's been so long. Like, God, I was a little kid the last time I tried to eat fruitcake, and I remember liking none of it, but I can't separate it out in my head. Would I have liked the flavors individually? And was it just a texture thing, or was it all of it? I don't know. I love the fucking cake, though. If somebody had been chintzy with their dried fruit and there was enough cake, I could pretend to enjoy it.
Now, the one thing my mom did make that I loved, the pizzelli cookies. Oh, God, man. Used to love those things.
Who was it that had like a mass-produced version? Where did we see that?
Lucky Dill.
No. I mean, no, but I mean like at a grocery store or something. Did we see that somewhere?
I think Publix may carry some during the holidays. Just like they have the Pfeffernuss.
Yep. See? In typical Friday Night live stream fashion, we're on food.
Now you really want to treat the one thing that I love, absolutely love, marzipan.
I know. I tried it. It's all yours. I don't find it bad. I just am like,
don't like the.
I can take this or leave this. And he loves it so much. I'm like, here, my gift to you is to let you have all of it. You're welcome.
We'll have to see this year if Aldi carries marzipan at the holidays.
Well, hell, what'd you find at Aldi? Spetzel?
Spetzel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not so sure about that, Silent. I feel like if we play our cards right, we can get JB talking about peppermint mochas. I know it's coming.
Minter is coming.
I knew that. I knew the moment I said it. I knew it. I knew it the moment I said it. That's okay. I saw a reel that used to be a TikTok of somebody in like the grocery store, and they were super excited to see all the pumpkin spice creamers.
Yeah.
And there were tons of them, and they looked down, and there were all these Christmas creamers, and they're like, no, it's not your turn yet. So, I'm not even sure what Spetzel is. I mean, we ate it, but like,
my mom used to make it. Mm-hmm. She'd make the dough, and I remember because she never wrote a fucking recipe down, so nobody knows any of her recipes. But she'd make the dough, put the pot on the stove, bring the water to a boil, and then she'd put the dough in this machine and you'd squeeze it out. Think of like a giant garlic press. Okay, and she just squeezes it down, drops into the water, and it cooks, and she just keeps.
Yeah, that sounds like work.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, but what's are we talking like flour, egg, water, or what is our dough made of? Still sounds like work.
But it tastes so good.
I mean, yeah, what we ate was good. We bought it at the grocery store.
And then you have a brown gravy over top of it. Ooh, yeah.
I do have to watch you when you use the word gravy, because you do not always use that word the way I use that word. Because first family dinner I was invited to, everybody kept saying rice and gravy, and I'm thinking of brown gravy, y'all, and I'm like, is there no protein in it? Like, I mean, I'll eat the shit out of that, but no, that was not it. Night, DS Bunny.
Good night.
Thanks for being here. Flour, egg, salt, and milk. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't remember what she did. I mean, she used to do so much cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, around the holidays, she'd make, like I say, she'd make the pizzelli cookies. She'd make the fruitcake, obviously. But she made she made homemade pfeffernuss. She made Springler cookies and rum balls.
I believe I recall the year we got the rum balls. That was delightful.
They were stout.
That will put some hair on your chest. That was delightful.
Yep. Eat your way to a drunk.
Yeah, I had never had a rum ball prior to that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, my.
Oh yeah, I remember her and my grandma used to make them in a big bowl. And the honeybee, and you pull it out, and the honey would just be like, stringing out, and so good.
Silent says, I feel like you'd like where we live now. It's very, very German.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is getting close to, Yeah.
Yeah, there was a German, was it a restaurant or just a shop you used to go down to in Tampa Bay area?
There were several German restaurants.
Yeah, I remember
in the Tampa
there
Bay
was
area.
one that we would drive by a lot. Never went to though.
And there was a German deli.
Is that where you went? You would get
German deli. It was in the city of Largo.
Okay.
And the holidays I used to stop there because I used to get a lot of the holiday stuff. They used to have all the different types of marzipan and the pfeffernuss and all the different holiday cookies.
I feel like I remember the first year we were living together, you made a point to go, and you came back, you had spent like $30, and you were like, look at what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah. JB is fully 50-50 Italian and German.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he's going to eat a red gravy with his rice. And a brown gravy with something else. With Spetzel,
with
right?
the Spetzel. Yep.
Probably on the same plate, really, if you got the option. Yeah.
Yeah, I know when where I grew up in upstate New York, Oktoberfest was very big up there.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Since being here in Florida, I haven't really seen anything.
I'm sure there's something,
Oh, yeah.
but maybe, we just
Yeah.
haven't seen it. I thought I saw a reel come through of places you should try in Orlando, because we get that kind of stuff. And I thought it was a German, might have been a German deli.
Okay.
I mean, I would not be opposed when the time is right to make a trip.
Well, I mean, that's like, that you sent me that one reel about Mazzoli's in St. Pete, the Italian deli.
Yeah.
I'd known about that place for years. I've never been there, but
We should go.
yeah.
See, as we stop having to do day-to-day parenting stuff or hour-to-hour parenting stuff, we can maybe take road trips.
Yeah.
Quick little day trips. Centered around food, of course, you see, because
Why not?
we like to eat. I don't know if you could tell.
Hold my lip.
It happens.
Yeah.
We've got about 30 minutes left of this live stream. For anybody just joining us, there is a Q&A still going on. Feel free to ask a question. Just please tag us in the live chat when you do.
The leader goes in.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about Oktoberfest. The only thing I've ever seen associated with Oktoberfest celebrations is beer.
Yeah.
Is that basically it? I mean, I'm sure I know there would be food.
Beer and brats.
I was almost said beer and brats, and I was like, no, I'm sure that's too much of a stereotype. That would be wrong of me. But it's an eating and drinking festival. Does it have a history behind it?
It does, and I don't remember.
Okay, anybody out there who might know, feel free to tell us. I mean, we could Google it, but we have the internet. But
there were things like, not Spetzel. Oh God, I can't think of it, but yeah, brats with the pepper, onions, and the big. Oh yeah. Yep.
I like a brat.
Mm-hmm.
I do like a brat.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I thought, want to be culturally sensitive. There was like a history to it.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, it was
Schnitzel.
Schnitzel. That's what I was trying to think of. Thank you, X.
And what? I know I've heard of Schnitzel, but what is Schnitzel?
See, even that I don't remember.
Okay. Sauerkraut. God, I haven't had sauerkraut in years. You made that face. Are you not a sauerkraut man?
I used to eat it. Mm-hmm. I used to like it. My mom actually made homemade sauerkraut.
Oh, wow. Your mom really embraced your dad's, German-ness.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, food was her love language, so, I get that.
So, they, now I lost my train of thought.
So that she used to make, you liked sauerkraut back in the day.
Yes,
your mom used to make it.
She made the sauerkraut. I used to like it, but nowadays sauerkraut does not like me anymore. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, I don't think the tag worked, but Pinky, I think I see your question. Tips navigating opposite libidos. Well, we know that. I crave it more often than my dom. As a sub, I feel uncomfortable initiating, and he feels insecure about it. It's a mess. We're now fighting over sex a lot. So the first thing you have to do, if you have not already done, is take that conversation about the mismatched libidos outside of right when somebody's trying to initiate sex. Do not have it when one of you is trying to get naked. You got to have it when you're both in a good headspace to try to calmly hear each other out. And that is not when somebody is thinking about initiating or kind of horny and wants. That's the first thing.
Worst time, yeah.
We have been mismatched in the opposite way, where mine just dried up, like just tumbleweeds, and you were still kind of raring to go. Part of the way we've done it, and it's not been as part of a power exchange, it's just been how we've handled it as a couple. JB has a bigger toy collection than I do. When JB's got an itch to scratch or needs to relieve some pressure, he just does. It's not it's an understood thing. It's not a, we didn't need to have a conversation about it. I was already talking about sex toys and getting off online, when we met. So for us, that part didn't have to be a conversation, but it was understood. So, and then there was a time when I was like actively trying a shit ton of sex toys, and in our power exchange, it used to be, now JB knows he cannot control, he can't tell me that I can't come because I'm already not, so what's the point? But at that time, when I was playing with sex toys left, right, and center, during sex toy review time, he did not control my orgasms. I just did what I had to do.
Right.
So if orgasm control is some part of your power exchange, I would say that probably that needs to be renegotiated, because if you would like to, are willing to, and it helps you in any way, use a sex toy on your own, do your own thing, and then that way when the stars align for both of you and you're both ready to go, you haven't gone without for however long. That would be the first thing I would say, if you haven't tried yet, to try. Whether it's with sex toys or your hand, I mean, that part doesn't matter. But get some sexual relief on your own, if that's a thing you're open to. Because that, I think, is what saved JB's sanity, quite frankly.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I think that's what saved his sanity. The other thing is, are there ways that you are getting intimacy that are good for both of you, right? Like, if it can't be sex as often as you would like, or in a way that it once was, are there other ways you can connect, so you at least have that sense of connection? Because sometimes it's the sex that is the problem, the lack of sex, and sometimes it's the lack of connection and just getting to be with one another. The other thing is, do you know the source of the mismatch? So is it medication? Is it, because side effects of some medications kill your sex drive? Is it mental health? For a brief time, JB and I were quite matched in our lack of libido, and JB's was his mental health. His mental health tanked, and so did everything else. And I cared as his partner, but as a person who was not thinking about sex at all, like I didn't even, it didn't affect me. So do you know the source of that mismatch, or has it just been, it's just a wiring thing? Sometimes it's just how we're wired, right? But if there's a source to it, is it something that you can work with or work around, right? Are there other medication options? Is therapy an option if it's mental health? Is it, because some stuff you can't work around. Sometimes it's a health issue. It's a wiring issue. One partner wants it less often. And that gets tricky too. When there's no fix to it, then you got to find workarounds. I find it easier as a submissive with less libido, because when you're like hot and heavy and ready to go, as long as you know I'm in a good headspace, we're going to, because that's how our power exchange is set up. I do think if there's an insecurity just with a partner initiating and not knowing you don't want to, that's a different conversation. Because if you're having the honest conversations about why there's a mismatch, then that, to me, that should alleviate any insecurity. If, like, let's say you're hot and heavy and you're trying to initiate, or let your partner know that, hey, I'm down to whatever. If you're down to whatever, you know, that the insecurity is the thing also to work on. Like, what is that? Where is that coming from? What's causing that? You know, again, is it that you're, you know, we get socialization of what it means to be this kind of person, right? Man, woman, masculine, feminine, dom, sub, right? And we take those messages in, and then because those messages are imperfect and they're built on stereotypes and cliches and they don't fit the actual human being of their actual lived experience, we feel less than when we don't match what we think we're supposed to be doing. That's a thing where you've got to rewrite what you think, you know, how you understand yourself, and work on rejecting the societal pressures of what you think you're supposed to do as this type of person or that type of partner, because it doesn't do anything but hurt everybody, you know. I don't think any of what I have said is helpful because I don't think there's an easy cut and dry answer. Some people do really well with scheduling intimacy of whatever that means, knowing this will be the time we do whatever we do, and then planning for it accordingly. Some do better with taking the pressure of sex completely off the table and focusing on other ways to connect. I can say this as the person who has lacked the libido the longest. I absolutely have sex sometimes when I'm not like I'm not turned on and like down to fuck, because I want the connection with him. Is that a possibility for y'all? Good chance it's not. Not everybody is willing and wants to and feels comfortable with that. I do. You know, there are times I really do not give a fuck about fucking, but I like JB being close to me. I know it makes him happy. I ultimately end up enjoying it once we're in the middle of it. And so that's one of our workarounds as well. But so, Pinky asks about tips for phone sex or making it fun. I suck at phone sex, so I have no tips. What about you, JB?
You know, the nice thing about phone sex is you can be creative with it, you know, and take it wherever you want to go.
I did really well with sexting because you would say like paragraphs worth of things, and I could just respond with emojis. And and a lot of ooh, daddy, you know.
Yeah.
I will never be the one to give good.
Yeah, no, I set the scene, did all the
you did all the work. And I was like...
And you just were along for the ride.
Oh, yeah. A lot of mm-hms. I learned how to type And what's funny is it was not that I didn't like what was happening. I just never knew what to say. Because, quite frankly, when we're physically together being intimate, I'm not saying a lot. There's a lot of noises. There's no speech.
Not coherent speech, right?
So no, yeah, I'm not. I like WeVibe.
Yeah,
they're expensive, but I like
WeVibe is another one too, and I think a lot of them now are starting to, have app. That they have some kind of distance, you know.
Yeah, the big problem with all those toys is that sometimes the app will be unreliable, and check reviews of the app before you buy a toy. But that's usually the big. So I don't write smut anymore. that dried up with the libido, quite frankly. The libido died in 2018. And when I think back to everything that went down with me in 2018, that is when perimenopause started. Because I've always been an anxious person. I've always been a little crazy. But that year I thought I was losing my fucking mind. And now what I know about perimenopause and I've learned, that's the year it fucking started. And I've been battling it ever fucking since.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Silent, if something like that happened with our youngest, he wouldn't sleep in the room until the damn thing was found. That happened in the living room, and he wouldn't come out to the living room for like 2 days. He'd go to the kitchen, he'd go to the dining room. If he was in the living room, he was staring up. Look, I'm like, baby, that thing is long gone now.
Right? Could be anywhere.
Yeah, when we were long distance, it was a lot of, over the phone, it was guided masturbation, which again, I liked because I had to make the appropriate noises and affirm, and give consent, but I just had to do what I was told. And he just had to tell me in his very sexy, gravelly 6 a.m. voice, and it was delightful. I'm not good with the participation of that.
Yeah, no.
Feels too much like role play. Okay, Sin, that's good to know. I have never tried Eleven's toy, so I've never tried their app.
I have no idea.
I love the WeVibe toys I've tried, but the app has sometimes been finicky, sometimes been amazing.
Yeah, I have the Bond and the Vector.
I believe I am on track to get 2 new toys. One, I think one is by WeVibe, and I think one is by Womanizer, and they're like, or they're both by Womanizer? They're brand new. I can't, like, they're embargoed. I can't even, like, talk about what they are, but they are new for that type, that maker. Oh. I am so excited. I haven't been excited. See, the medicine's working. I haven't been excited about a sex toy in a long time. So, that was one of our guaranteed times we could talk.
Right. I would be on my way to work, and I could talk while I was,
You would stop, get a cup of coffee.
Right.
Call me to wake me up. I didn't even have to set my alarm anymore after a certain point. We'd get like 20, 30 minutes in. And then,
Yep.
Yeah. I keep hoping that they will improve that app because people are giving them real world feedback on the damn thing. But is that what happened? Because the person who reached out to me, they were talking about WeVibe and Womanizer, and I was like, why are these always paired? Because I still remember back in the day when I don't think that they were owned by, I think they were 2 separate or whatever. But that's a long time ago.
So she bought them a couple years ago.
Yeah. Okay, I feel better now. It's like, I remember a time when they were separate companies. But yeah. Yes. Guess what, Silent? You might be about to. I believe I got 2 on the way. And here's the thing. I looked at them and went, in the pictures and reading the description, I went, these sound like things I would like. Yes, I would like to try these. Please send them my way. Thank you very much.
I might have something coming too, don't?
Yes, I gave them our mailing address, and said, let me know if you need anything else. So, glad to have you. Echo Kitty City. Sorry, I had to look because I had the old eyes and the progressive lenses, and it fucking sucks. Good night, Mr. Spock.
Good night, Mr. Spock. Good night, Echo Kitty City.
It is 1:45. We will be stopping at midnight, so this is sort of kind of a last call. If anybody does have a question, feel free. Just please tag us in it so it lights up for us.
Lola is snoring hard over there.
Yeah, she is. When I walked past her to get more drinks, she didn't even move. Yeah, part of me is I don't have time or energy right now to get back into blogging at all. The thing I would talk about most would be the misery of perimenopause. The problem I've had through all of this is that I haven't even wanted, not only have I not wanted to touch any of my vibrators, of which I have several, I don't even think about them, gone. Just don't even, Like, I don't even think about my own body in that way anymore. If JB wasn't, like, doing something to make me think about it, like, just, no. I'm more in tune with my kink needs than my sexual needs. Like, I can tell you when I'm at a point of, please God, just can somebody spank me? That would be really nice. God damn, I need my hair pulled. Like, that kind of stuff, those sensations, much more in tune than with sexual pleasure or anything. Like, the thoughts just, that was what was so wild about reading about these giant blue aliens. There was a lot of reading yesterday, and I had not been reading that series for a while. I'd taken it because it's formulaic. It gets old after a while. Because I was
wearing
like,
white hats by chance? Blue aliens, white hats.
No, that's a reference I don't get. I think.
Smurfs.
Oh God, no! These dudes are 7 feet tall, hung like horses, and they have horns. Anyway, that apparently make great handles when they go down on their women. And it's a society that didn't know about blowjobs till the humans got there. So. But anyway, there was a lot of basically faces just going into boobs, like, you know. I was like, I remember when I used to have that experience.
Motorboat.
And I was this close to, like, shoving my tits in your face. And that's how I know the medication is working. But we had a false positive with the medication. What about it? 6 months, 9 months ago, where, man, things started happening, and then they just those have to be real big apples, real big apples. Yeah, it's, I don't know. When we're done here, before we go to sleep, I'll probably read some more Cotton Candy. I've got a like, so short I wouldn't even call it a novella waiting, and that's like book 18 or 19. So when it's 21 books, they're not all the full length of the average Ice Planet Barbarian book. There's some novellas and stuff in there. And this one is considered like a little cozy thing. It's just slice of life kind of thing. No conflict, just... Okay. There's going to be some fucking. And, you know, I'm down for that. Mm-hmm. We're somewhere in the series, we're supposed to get the story of one of the captured, the blue aliens did not capture these folks. They were captured by others and then ended up on the planet. But there is a postmenopausal woman who, the way the fated mates thing works, the symbiote is like, it's time to make babies, right? And it matches you up. Well, she can't make babies, but did she find her a big blue alien to get down with? Yes, she did. And we're supposed to get her story. And I'm looking forward to that one, because that is a person who's not trying to have babies. It's not going to, like, get a fated mate. She is choosing her, you know, like, I want to read that story. And God damn, give me some more characters who are getting, like, fucked good, who are over the age of 23. The nice thing is, some of these stories, as the series goes on, they're now, like, closer to 30. But I just need somebody who's, like, you know, in their 40s or 50s. That's what the fuck I need. And I need them to have grand adventures and get, like, I mean, not just dicked down, because there are many ways to fuck. But considering the kind of smut I've been reading lately, I need an older person, I need an older woman specifically to get fucked right. Okay? And still, like, and I don't have a problem with my main female character being in her early 20s. That's fine. It's fine. I don't have a problem with 30s. It's fine. But I'm of an age now.
Maybe this is your new calling to write
no,
that.
I'm not going to write that shit. You know, Silent, my imagination is a great place. I am happy for these things to live in my imagination. In real life, I would, oh no. Especially when the descriptions of these 7-foot blue aliens' dicks with a spur. And you hear spur and you might think like a sharp thing. It's more like an extra added appendage, if their dick was a rabbit. Like, it's gonna hit the clit too. Anyway, and they will describe these dicks like, my hands didn't go all the way around. But that first time they fucked, that was full penetration. I'm like, how? So yes, it lives in my imagination. If a dick like that came at me, I'd be like, nope, that's not even a toy I would own. Nope. And you know how I feel about being full. Nope. That's a novelty toy that I would put on a shelf as like a background for photos and videos. That's not one I would like sit on. Nope. Yes, Silent. I love that. The TikTok of the original creator who did that. Apparently, that person is a narrator for smutty stories on, is it the Quinn app? There's an app that's
Quinn.
Is it Quinn? Okay. That the person who made that TikTok, if you're like, what TikTok? she was talking about, big dicks and how big, and 10 inches is crazy. Nobody's doing that. And, 4 inches is fine and 5 inches is great and blah, blah, blah. That thing went fucking viral, and she's even posted it on her Twitter a couple times. That's where I've seen it. But that's where I learned that she is also a smutty book narrator or smutty story narrator person. Yeah.
I had somebody recently tell me that they think I'd have a good voice to read for that app.
Oh, please do. Do you recall, one, you used to narrate the stories from a Masturbation Monday podcast.
Monday, yeah.
And do you know how many people have asked for you to record? I once had a few people reach out and go, what would make a great Patreon tier? A tier where it's just you get stories read by JB in your voice. And that voice. See, do you know how... Can you imagine how we might have had really great phone sex? I got to listen to that voice. Yes. Oh, and I'm also hitting the base of the mic, and I'm sure that's coming through. See. I know you don't want to hear your voice on recording. I know. Yeah. And here's the thing. Here's what I would tell you. Because the one thing, of all the things I've learned how to do, I've never learned how to work Audacity. But if we ever did make that a Patreon tier, I'd do the editing for you. If you just sat and fucking read and recorded, you just got to teach me how to use Audacity.
I read a fascinating article about that.
About Quinn?
No, about not liking your own voice.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's because apparently it's got something to do with when you talk. All right, you only partially hear yourself through the ears. It's like an internal hearing. So then when you hear your voice externally, fully,
you're like, who the fuck is that? Yeah. It took me a very long time to get used to. The part I struggle with now is not hearing my recorded voice, and it did take me a very long time. It's seeing myself on video. Every time I look, I'm like, okay, let's just let the self-esteem dip a little lower. Silent. Night, Francis, and enjoy your your 7 a.m. hike. That's devotion. Have fun.
All right.
If you would like to send us links so I could, get another business idea and put JB in front of a microphone, we could do that. Because I can edit that shit too.
You could.
That I could
do.
You've got a good soothing voice. And ooh, when you use your Dom voice, oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's your Dom voice while you're wearing a kilt. I mean, if I had a uterus, it would spontaneously explode with babies. I'm just saying. No! Why do you think we didn't really do a lot of voice and kilt stuff before? I would have ovulated all over you. Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
That's awesome, Coley.
Nice.
Congrats.
Very cool.
We Silent. We listened to Drift Off as our sleep story podcast. Her name's Joanne. She has a soothing voice. She's reading Anne of Green Gables, and I keep falling asleep. I get halfway through
what
one
she's reading.
Those are the Sunday ones. I know, right? You don't hear them at all. I know. No, I know we can't, but I almost want to, like, at some point subscribe to her, because the ones that she doesn't release that are just for her subscribers, it's the Boxcar Children. And the nostalgia I feel. Anna Green Gables, she did Laura Ingalls Wilder, like 2 or 3 books. There were a couple nights I made myself stay awake so I could hear the chapters. It was very dramatic, and I remembered that part of the book. And Drift Off, if anybody is like.
See, and this has been since we've done the sleep story, going back for years. Because of my hearing at that point, didn't really know. And now, once I take out my bionics, it's not the story itself. It's just
the noise.
It's excuse me, everybody. I am so sorry for that.
Baby had a bubble.
Yeah. It's just the it's just like white noise to me. It's like wah, 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 wah,
I know, and I'm trying to.
wah.
It's so funny because I'm trying to put the volume up for you because I'm like, he can't even hear the story because I know.
Yeah.
But see,
it's been that way so long for me. Even when we used to use the other app.
And it was on your side of the bed.
And it was on my side of the bed. I can tell you, I know back in the day, Lucy Lou's story that
we listened to that
one. That one I remember because that was before my hearing really started going bad.
We listened to that Lucy Lou story for literal months.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then even after that, I listened to it because it's kind of the one I knew by heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then by that time, that it started to taper off, and like I say, it just became background noise for me, and that's fine. That puts me to sleep.
You go to sleep. That's what counts. Yeah. Last night we were so exhausted when we finally went to bed. I didn't even. So the Drift Off podcast, she usually starts with like a couple things like to help you relax, kind of deal, take some deep breaths, and if I'm really tired, I don't get past that part. I might not even get all the way through that part, but on the nights when I'm not quite. Like tonight, I won't be wound down enough to sleep right away. I'll usually get through like maybe a chapter, maybe half of a chapter, or if she's reading something really short and it's only like 20 minutes, I think 23 minutes is the shortest I've ever seen from her. I'll probably get close to all the way through to that. But she's doing a fall thing where every Sunday in September and October, I think. She's putting out an extra episode from the Anne of Green Gables, the first book of Anne of Green Gables. And I remember loving that as a kid. And so I keep trying to listen and I keep falling asleep. Like, damn it, Joanne. You're too good at this. So. But no, I think, JB, you could read just about anything and it's a soothing voice. But if you read sexy smutty thing, that's not. But you could also just do bedtime stories. Yeah. The hardest part is making sure that if we put something out publicly and not just for Patreon, that you're reading something that we wouldn't have a copyright violation.
Exactly, and that's what we've talked about this before, and that's kind of what.
There's way. I mean, you use public use stuff. Public use isn't the right expression, is it? Anyway, it's almost midnight, so.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get us to whatever. But, yeah. But no, if you are ever willing to do that for us to put out and not... I would edit you so you don't have to listen to yourself.
Well,
You just have to teach me how to use Audacity. That's all. Oh, God. Silent.
Madam Gretchen. I thought about that.
I mean, obviously you would have permission. Like, hey, I made a whole 12 cents this month from Smashwords.
Woohoo!
I think I sold half a book. Okay, it is officially midnight.
Yeah.
So we are going to go. I'm sweating through my shirt right now. Thank y'all for being here.
Appreciate each and every one of you that hangs out with us on a Friday night.
Yep. Even our lurkers who are not in the live chat. We know you're here and we appreciate you. We will be back on Wednesday for our next episode. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.